Director of the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India in Durban, Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Advocate Kessie Naidoo, Mr. Sipiwe Mchunu, Mr. Kiran Singh, distinguished guests, online viewers, namaskar and welcome to episode 12 of Samarpan Yatra, an online series of cultural or spiritual organizations in South Africa. Indeed, today we feature the Ramakrishna Center of South Africa, Phoenix. We will be having an interaction with Advocate Kessie Naidoo, also known as Advocate Hari Ramchandra Naidoo, who is the trustee of the Ramakrishna Center, South Africa, Phoenix, by Mr. Sipiwe Mchunu. Just a little bit about Advocate Kessie Naidoo. So was admitted to the bar as an advocate in the year 1977 and appointed a senior counsel by President Nelson Mandela in 1994. So is currently retired and serves the community as he believes. He is just a humble servant of the Lord. So indeed, sit back, relax as we take you on this divine journey on episode 12 of Samarpan Yatra with the Ramakrishna Center of South Africa, Phoenix, being featured today. Namaste and welcome, Advocate Kessie Naidoo and CPWG, for your interaction today.
Namaste, Shristi. Namaste to all.
Namaskar, Advocate Hari Ramchandra Naidoo, also known as Advocate Kessie Naidoo. It's a pleasure to have you this evening, sir. Welcome to our 12th episode of our program, Samarpan Yatra. So we are very glad to have you this evening. So on behalf of Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, we are welcoming you. Thank you very much, sir, for coming this evening.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Sir, kindly tell us about the Ramakrishna Center of South Africa, its history and its vision and perspectives.
Yes. May I first commence by extending my sincere gratitude to Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Director, Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India, Durban, for the very kind invitation to participate as online guest speaker for the 12th episode of the Samarpan Yatra, the journey of devotion. I also convey cordial greetings and best wishes from revered Swami Sharda Prabhananda, the president of the Ramakrishna Center of South Africa, Phoenix, and the officials and devotees of the center. At the outset, I consider it appropriate to introduce the life of the man, call him a saint, a mystic, or a spiritual guide, who is undoubtedly the great nourishment for the roots that blossomed into the many centers around the world bearing his holy name, and in the hundreds of thousands of homes around the world where his name is chanted daily with deep reverence. I can do no better than quoting from Swami Vivekananda, his foremost disciple, and I quote, "The life of Sri Ramakrishna was an extraordinary searchlight under whose illumination one is able to really understand the whole scope of Hindu religion. He was the object lesson of all the theoretical knowledge given in the scriptures. He showed by his life what the rishis and the avatars really wanted to teach. The books were the theories, he was the realization. This man had, in 51 years, lived the 5,000 years of national spiritual life, and so raised himself to be an object lesson for future generations," unquote. The Ramakrishna Center of South Africa in Phoenix, which I shall henceforth refer to as the center or the Phoenix Center, is a branch of the worldwide Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission located in Belur Math, Kolkata, India. The Ramakrishna Mission, in addition to its many centers in India, has branch centers all over the world, as far afield as Mauritius, the United States of America, Australia, United Kingdom, France, Germany, Japan, Singapore, Russia, Ireland, Sri Lanka, and Switzerland, to mention but a few. The motto of the Ramakrishna Mission is Atmano Mokshartam Jagat Hitaya Cha, a Bengali phrase which, when translated, means, and I quote, for the salvation of our individual self and for the well-being of all on earth. It is a shloka of the Rig Veda. Swami Vivekananda, the foremost disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, would often use it, and it became the motto of the Ramakrishna Mission that he founded in 1897 with his brother monks, all disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, and the related Ramakrishna Math. This motto encapsulates most effectively the characteristic spirit impressed upon and expected of all connected with the management of and all the services undertaken in connection with and in furtherance of the aims and objectives of the Phoenix Center, from the trustees, the management, and every volunteer devotee. The dictum has two messages, which will be more meaningful as we go on this discussion. One is to seek salvation for one's own soul, and the other is to address the issue of the welfare of the world. This motto also cements the two divergent and obvious aspects of Atman, the soul, and Jagat Hitaya, service to humanity, which are to be achieved by one's own personal efforts. To achieve this, constant, dedicated, and sincere human effort is required, not only for one's own salvation, but also for providing service to humanity as a whole. The Ramakrishna Center in South Africa was founded 8 decades ago by a 17-year-old South African, Dhanagopal Naidoo, born in Newcastle in northern Natal, and who later became a monk with the monastic name Swami Nischalananda. It's through his efforts initially that the center in Phoenix and our sister center in Durban has grown to serve the respective communities where it is located in such a phenomenal way. The Phoenix Center is located in Forest Haven Drive in Phoenix, north of Durban, and is the largest settlement of Indians outside India. Some general observations about the Phoenix Center. The management of the center is handled by a management committee of 13 members, which include 3 trustees, of whom I am one, and the president, Swami Sharda Prabhananda, is also part of. This management committee, through necessity and through the nature and volume of the work involved, meets every Saturday without fail. If there is some, for example, occasion like Christmas on a Saturday, the committee meets on a Thursday evening. So at least 52 meetings the management committee will have every year. And this, of course, is supplemented during the week by meetings of smaller committees of the management committee on a Tuesday and a Thursday, where mainly the social workers report and are given instructions in relation to their work. The center is also a PBO, public benefit organization registered with SARS, and an NPO, a non-profit organization registered with the Department of Social Welfare. The center's books are audited annually by an international firm of auditors, and in particular, we are grateful to have the benefit of a fairly substantial donor community. But what we stress is that we do not accept donations from casinos, lotteries, and other gambling establishments. The center does not publicize any of its services or its work, by the very fact that it's imperative for those performing this seva should not reap any benefits from what they give as a service to God. As they serve God's creatures, they are actually serving God. Now, regarding the general ethos of the organization, all decisions are taken by the management committee, except where provided for in our constitution. Certain decisions are taken by the 3 trustees alone in consultation with the management committee. In this way, no single person or group of persons can claim any superior position or authority to act on his or on her own. This is one of the most important features of our center, all-inclusive decision-making. Another important characteristic of an organization such as ours is the imaginary refuse bin we have installed at the entrance of our center. All officials, when they arrive at the center, devotees and donors entering the precincts of our center are required to remove their hats or labels of their egos and throw it into the imaginary bin before they step inside or drive inside. Whether you are a prominent specialist physician or a prominent businessman, the wealthiest donor, or a person with great acumen, all, as well as the humble sweeper of our premises, all are treated equally. All are treated with respect, dignity, and love. Our guests are accorded special treatment because they are treated like God. So you will find in our center no evidence of any quarrel between officials, claims of particular privileges to prominence, and any donation, any proclamation of any donation any person has made. Our organization operates on the basis for the benefits of its beneficiaries only. So I can go on unless Spiwa, who is the guiding force in this entire exercise, has anything further to ask, I can proceed. You okay, Spiwa?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Proceed.
Thank you.
We are really enjoying. Thank you.
Now, I'll give you an idea about our pre-COVID activities. As you would imagine, that since the arrival of COVID in March last year, our activities have by necessity inside the center diminished fairly substantially and purposely for the safety of all who come to and participate in the work at the center. The pre-COVID situation is that our prayer meetings held regularly on a Monday evening for the general public. All are welcome. And regularly there is an average of 500 people that enters and participates in our satsangs on a Monday evening. On a Tuesday, a program is held for the senior citizens, generally the frail, lonely, but happy and contented people that live in the Phoenix general area and surrounding area. And the facility of and the advantage of being on a bus and taxi route enables them to come over. Many of them are there from as early as 5:30 in the morning, because perhaps the only interaction they have socially is on that Tuesday. And on that Tuesday, we start off with the satsang. We have then a break for tea and snacks. We start at 9:30 when some have gathered as early as 5:30. And we have a break for tea and snacks. And at 10 o'clock, we have a program. Sorry, at 10 o'clock, we have a break for tea and snacks. And at 10:30, we have a talk, generally in relation to legal issues, social issues, issues that affect even legal issues from our lawyers in our Ramakrishna Legal Clinic, and general information in relation to there being ratepayers, taxpayers, having difficulties with lighting and other health issues which our doctors give. And then at 10:30, we have a DVD, a cultural DVD, very often portraying India and the activities, the services, the wonderful glories of India, its position now from the days it had been under British rule, successes, etc. And our devotees on that occasion are very gratified to hear and to see India, which we have all been deprived of during apartheid. And at the end of the program, prior to which, as early as 5 o'clock in the morning, freshly cooked, is cooked for 1,200 people. Although we have 600 attendees, we feed the people and we encourage them to come with their containers to take food home, freshly cooked food home, rice, a curry, dal, salad, etc., where for their families and for their neighbors, etc., to interact and to share their days at the center. Regarding our medical services, prior to the pandemic, more than 2,000 people, patients, school children, physically challenged, etc., are treated at our Ramakrishna clinic regularly, and that's per week, and as well as in state hospitals and medical camps, which we provide twice a year. Free consultations were provided for a total of 10,417 patients monthly, both at our center and in our outreach centers that we serve. Then we have a nutrition program where our social workers go out into Phoenix and visit homes to ascertain the needs, both in terms of nutrition, food, blankets, other necessities, their medical needs, etc., and report to our management committee. And during COVID times, because of the obvious difficulties in relation to contact with those who get the benefits of our regular distribution of food and other necessities, we operate on a knock and drop basis where we go out, the groups of volunteers go out one day in the month with hampers, with a pre-notification of the beneficiaries and deliver it there. A large amount of bread is delivered, milk is delivered through collaborating with tuck shops in the area, where we pay on a weekly basis the tuck shop and they supply the milk and bread to the beneficiaries. We have also been servicing institutions with regular groceries and vegetables, those that we have associated with that serve the African community, like the Ramakrishna Abalindi home in Inanda, the Ramakrishna Ansamo home, a home for children, a 40-bed hospital for children afflicted by cerebral palsy, which Ramakrishna Center Phoenix constructed, which cost 30 million rands, and which was handed over to the Ramakrishna, to the Mzamo Child Guidance and Training Initiative of KZN, an organization which does that kind of work. So the Ramakrishna Center of South Africa Phoenix has only in name connection with the organization. Presently, that organization runs that facility. And insofar as after the visit of the Prime Minister Modi in 2016, the government of India, through the office of the Prime Minister, made available 1 million rands to the Phoenix Center to refurbish the dining hall of the Ramakrishna Abalindi home. Our children's classes we conduct every Saturday, where value-based educational classes are conducted for 163 children on a weekly basis. The Ramakrishna Legal Aid Clinic, which we conduct at the center, where a team of 1 advocate and 3 attorneys provide legal services to between 8 and 10 indigent people. This was prior to the pandemic. Now that the Ramakrishna Clinic has been closed to avoid contact. And then we also perform veterinary services, where medicine and food are provided for pets, and also through sponsors, surgical operations. Also to facilitate agricultural initiatives taken by the beneficiaries of our programs. We used to and still deliver seed packs, seedlings, saplings, fertilizers, and gardening tools to approximately 80 poor families and other welfare organizations who developed these kitchen gardens. 6 families were also provided with 2,500 liters of rainwater harvesting tanks. Skilled development also is a focus of our work, and provisions and means are given to beneficiaries to boost their home-based businesses in the fields of food vending, tailoring, and gardening services. Our sub-center in Johannesburg, which is led by Swami Swatma Ramananda, a monk from India who is settled here in Johannesburg as the resident monk. The sub-center conducts regular prayer meetings, birth anniversaries of the Holy Trio, and other festivals, which are all also regularly conducted at our center. These programs moved to an online platform during the pandemic. So this is generally the situation of the work at the center post-pandemic, and you can work out that because of the pandemic, instead of my going into detail about the various, the nature of our work presently, much of it is done outside the center because it was unsafe to invite people, the beneficiaries of our programs, devotees, etc., to come and gather at the center, because even if we try to limit them now that we've gone to level 1, it's impossible to separate 600 people by taking only 300, because you can't exclude some without properly explaining.
All right.
As the Prabhasi Bharatiya Saman Award is an award constituted by the Ministry of External Affairs, Overseas Indian Affairs, Government of India, in conjunction with the Prabhasi Bharatiya Divas, to honor exceptional and meritorious contributions by people of Indian origin and organizations in the Indian diaspora. This prestigious award is the highest honor conferred on overseas Indians and organizations. In January 2019, the Phoenix Center for its meritorious community service had been selected as one of the recipients for the conferment of the above award, and Sergeant Swami Sharda Prabhananda, the president of the Ramakrishna Center of South Africa, received the award at the valedictory function of the Prabhasi Bharatiya Divas Convention on 23rd January 2019 in Varanasi, India. The award was conferred by the Honorable President of India, Sri Ramnath Kovind. The center in South Africa had been selected for this award because of its significant contribution its leaders, administrators, and members had made in the field of better understanding of India and the forging of closer cooperation with the African community.
Thank you very much.
I think I've spoken quite a bit, and Sipiwa, we'd like to hear your lovely voice now.
Thank you very much, for sharing with us such a rich history of your Ramakrishna Center of South Africa, Phoenix. The rich history, it is touching. I was listening to you when you are telling us that it started by a 17-year-old man. His vision, after so many years, his vision is still standing. So we like to thank the men and women who are behind pushing this vision, because we all know, and we all know that service to humanity is service to God. So whatever the Ramakrishna is doing to South Africans in general, we like to say, we are humbled. Thank you very much. I am the witness. I know in Abalindi, in Inanda, I know the good work that Ramakrishna Center of South Africa Phoenix is doing. I know, helping the ladies there, they are doing sewing, they are doing gardening. I am the witness, so thank you. We are touched, by what you are saying. And also about the activities that you are running, we like to thank all those who are supporting this vision. They don't get tired. Ramakrishna Center was established many, many years ago to help the fellow South Africans, people who are needy, people who need help. The Ramakrishna Center, it's there. So, Advocate Kessie Naidoo, thank you very much, sir, for sharing with us all these things. I know, as I'm saying, I'm a witness. I know. Thank you very much. So now, sir, please, we know that you are running so many activities, as you said earlier. So what is the response and the participations on these activities?
As I was explaining to Kiran earlier before the program, there are a large number of devotees. On our management committee, for example, we have 2 chartered accountants, we have 2 lawyers, we have businessmen, social workers, and amongst our voluntary workers, and there's a huge force of them, people engaged in packing hampers, people regularly, presently, we're distributing an average of 1,000 breakfast packs to homes in Phoenix where children are leaving home for school without any nutrition. And each of these breakfast packs has nutrition for 7 days, for the whole week. And it goes on a weekly basis, delivering to a large number of homes. So for those kind of activities, you need people to come and spend time laboriously but lovingly packing these breakfast packs, packing the hampers. We have people that go out, and in order to ensure that donors' funds are properly used to get the best prices for our food. And we never use other organizations, entities, or groups to do the distribution of the benefits that are due to our beneficiaries. We do it ourselves, where our people go directly to the door, hand it to them, etc. The are, for example, doctors, some of whom have retired and are at the full time at the center, highly skilled professionals, specialists, who come and regularly attend services for the people who can't afford medical services. It's in value terms, it's a huge amount and a deep commitment required for this. So all those volunteer devotees, professionals, etc., who perform these functions on a daily basis for the benefits of the beneficiaries of our center are all firstly attracted and become devoted, we believe, by the grace of God. And in this way, when other people see, both their relatives, friends, and people in the community see the work that is produced, they also gravitate and offer to do similar work. And before a person is accepted as a volunteer worker, we spend time observing the people to gauge their commitment, gauge their sincerity, etc. So to answer your question, the regular conduct of these activities I've spoken about are performed by people with a deep commitment, a deep love, and an understanding that they are not coming to our center only to benefit from the scripture classes that are conducted even presently on Wednesdays and Fridays, not only for the benefits of attending satsang and chanting, but also, apart from their own salvation that they are seeking, for the benefit of humanity, which renders more meaningful the motto that I had spoken about earlier in this presentation. So we are thankful that we have, by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, a donor community which has been very readily coming forward without any solicitation and donating to our work. I suppose because they see the nature of the work that is done. And also, they, for example, our gardens at our center is not watered by municipal water, but tanks, 7 tanks that have been installed and collect rainwater. So when a donor walks into our place, they know that their monies are used solely for the benefit for which they had intended. So that is how we are able to conduct these activities regularly, sincerely, and lovingly for our beneficiaries, all under the guidance of Swami Sharda Prabhananda, who has years of experience since he had joined the center almost 42 years ago. He has had this wonderful experience over the years, and he is the one that is inspiring and leading and guiding the devotees and volunteers at our center.
Advocate Kessie Naidoo, we know when the goodness is there, the evil forces are also coming. So now we want to know, what are the challenges that are you facing for expansion of this wonderful work that Ramakrishna Center of South Africa, Phoenix, is doing?
Regarding the challenges, where undoubtedly all organizations doing this kind of work are confronted with, I can say that our work is growing exponentially. The need has increased through unemployment, which has also increased in numbers, and other factors, more so after the July unrest has resulted in many more requests for assistance, not only for daily sustenance, but also for medical relief. So quite clearly, there is certainly a need for more contributions, and I'm sure that by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, our donor community will come to the assistance of the center, and the donations in value also fortunately have increased to enable us to expand our work, and hopefully next year we expect that we will not be laboring under the limitations created by COVID, and we will be able to have more devotees attending our satsangs. Presently, our satsangs are still held every Monday evening, but a very small group, musicians, and a small group of devotees present. Then our senior citizens program also, we hope, would be able to resume again next year. So quite clearly, with the numbers of people who attend our satsangs, we're expecting next year, and who attend our senior citizens program, also the need for more food to supply, more sustenance for the programs taking place there as well, will arise. So these are the likely challenges that we expect.
Thank you very much for those wonderful. We know problems are always there, but you know, we are so happy that the Ramakrishna Center of South Africa, Phoenix, it is still standing for after so many years, you know, so thank you very much, sir. Now, what I want to know from you, sir, what are the prospects of the Ramakrishna Center of Phoenix, South Africa, and the activities in South Africa?
Regarding the prospects of the work and activities, we hope that by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, all those connected with the work presently at the Ramakrishna Center of South Africa, Phoenix, remain inspired and are still touched by his grace to continue serving his children, his animals, serving and creating people to sustain themselves by skills that we are enabling people to do, by providing people with seeds where they can grow in their gardens and become self-sufficient. So we rely for this, for our work in the future, for the leadership and guidance of our President, Swami Sharda Prabhananda, our continuous contact with and support from our headquarters in Belur Math, Kolkata, India, and from our donor community, that our volunteer devotees remain inspired to continue this work.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for those wonderful remarks.
Thank you very much for those kind words, and thank you for the invitation to this program.
Namaskar. On behalf of the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India in Durban, it gives me great pleasure in extending this evening's vote of thanks. Firstly, I would like to say a huge thank you to Advocate Kessie Naidoo for your humble, beautiful interaction with CPWG today and sharing deep insight on the great work of the Sri Ramakrishna Center of South Africa in Phoenix. A big thank you goes out to revered Swami Sharda Prabhananda ji as well, to the trustees of the Ramakrishna Center, as well as all its members and devotees. So thank you so much for taking our time from your busy schedule and having this beautiful divine interaction with us and sharing this journey with the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank Director of the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India in Durban, Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Mr. CPWM Chunu, Mr. Kiran Singh, but most importantly, you, our online guest and viewer. Please stay tuned to SVCC social media pages for what's happening next at SVCC. Namaskar.